Hello everyone, welcome to stampwithjenny.com. Today we're going to be making this cute paper pumpkin, perfect for decorating your Thanksgiving table. So let's get started. Going to take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of pumpkin pie cardstock and cut it into 1-inch strips. Okay, once you're done cutting your strips, I'm actually going to take out my cutting blade and put in my scoring blade because I want to score. This is 2 inches by 5.5 inches. I'm actually going to score this in half. So score at the 1-inch mark and set this aside, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that later. Okay, so you have your 11 1-inch by 8.5 inch strips, and taking the Sandy Speckles wheel and a chocolate chip cartridge, I'm going to wheel on every single strip. You can use a wheel guide for this, but I'm just going to wheel on here. Okay, so once you've wheeled on all of your strips, I'm going to take 5 of them, just because my crocodile won't go through all of them at once. And with your 1/8 inch punch, just punch on either side. Like I said, I only split them up because it won't go through all of them at once, all 11, but it'll go through half at a time. So then I'll take a rhinestone brad. I like to use the rhinestone brads because the prongs on these are nice and long. I will take my 1/16 inch punch, and at the end of a strip of 5/8 inch old olive grove green, punch a hole at the one end, stick my brad through, and then put it through one end of my strips. And I'm doing this so the rhinestone will actually be on the inside, so that way your pumpkin will sit flat. See, because if I were to knot a piece of ribbon on the outside of this, it would wobble. Okay, so I've attached it at one end. And the other end, bring your ribbon through the holes. Okay, so we've got the ribbon through all of those holes. Excuse me. And from here, I'm going to pull this to get the shape of my pumpkin. Now you can do it as big as you like. I kind of like my pumpkins a little more flat, so they're like this. So you want to do a U shape, and then knot your ribbon so it secures it. Okay, so just like that. Then I'm going to cut off the excess. This will be the stump, and then just fan out your strips. Okay, so I've fanned all of my strips out, and you can see it's definitely starting to look like a pumpkin. cute. Okay, so I want to put on some leaves and some vines on the top, and that's where we come back to our piece of old olive cardstock that we scored before. I'm going to just fold it in half where the score line was with your bone folder, get a nice crease, and freehand some leaves. If you remember when you were a kid, you used to cut out hearts this way. Just cut out 2 leaves, and then with my crimper tool, I'm hoping you'll be able to see this. I'm going to hold onto my handle and put it in here, kind of at an angle, and just take it through. Do the same with the other one. Okay, and then when you open them, isn't that neat? They look like leaves. Okay, so your leaves are done. Now we need to do our vines. For that I took a 1 inch by 5.5 inch piece of old olive. I'm going to cut freehand 5 or 6 strips, leaving about a 1/2 inch at the end here. You can use your paper cutter, but it's just as easy for me to freehand these. Then I'm going to actually cut them in half, so I have 2 sets of 3 strips. See? Then I'm going to take my stylus. You can use a pen for this too, anything round. I'm going to just curl these up pretty tight to make little vines. Okay, so now that I have my 2 sets of vines, I'm going to adhere them with a glue dot. And how I like to put these on, you'll notice on the pumpkin there's the top strip here. See how all of them kind of fall under this one? Hoping you can see that. I'm going to try to adhere the vines and the leaves just to that one. The reason why I'm doing that is so that way you can still play with it and get it to look nice, so all of your strips are even. So that's why I like to just do it on the one. So glue dots on my leaves. Put those on to kind of cover the 1/2 inch space that we left on those vines. So, and see, now I can go back in and make sure all of my strips are evenly spaced. And that's all there is to it. Isn't that cute? Okay, thanks for stopping by.